Hi and welcome to my first restoration of this little car I had back in 1970. This isn't the actual one. I got this in the job lot and basically it's a little Alfa. Now as I say, I remember having one of these when I was a child and it brought back so many memories, and I thought to myself, this will have to be the first car that I actually restore. My other vivid memory was of a beach buggy, a purple beach buggy with yellow dots all over it, but this one I do remember having, and like everybody, you don't know where they go to, and as I say, it's taken me straight back to being a child, this one. So the windscreen looks in pretty good condition, although it looks a bit scuffed up. There don't seem to be any cracked glass at all. It is made by Matchbox and it's series number 35, I think it is there, and it is dated, as you can see there, 1970. An ideal one for me to start off with. I've never restored these cars before. If you've probably seen my Retro Restore channel, you've probably seen that I've actually restored many cars or different things in the past, and if you followed me on my Retro Hacks channel. But we're going to give this a go, and the first thing we're going to do is to have to drill these rivets out. We've got two rivets there, one there and obviously one there as well. So I'm going to get a drill them out, and obviously take the base off, and we can see the inside and strip this thing completely down. Right, so let's try and drill these rivets out. We're going to try first of all by taking the head off. Right, okay. I'll just try and lever this open now. There we go, first one's popped. There we go, let's just try and lever up now from here. I think I still need some more on this rear one. Again, it's just knowing how far to drill, I suppose, so hopefully this will pull apart now. There we go. This is the first time this has been opened in about 50 years. And as you can see inside, it's got a plastic clip there which holds the wheels in. On earlier models, I gather these are, or different models, they're metal plates in there. So the wheels should come out pretty easy if I put a screwdriver under there. Just lift it up and hopefully the wheels should slide out. I'm hoping. There we go. And there's the little tiny thin axles of these Hot Wheels, and as you can see in this case it's bent. So I'll have to obviously use these because I don't carry no spares at the moment, so I will clean that up and just literally straighten it out a bit in with a pair of grips or whatever. Right, okay. So looking inside of this vehicle, I've just got to tip that out and the seating comes out, as you can probably see there, which is very grubby to say the least, but just probably will need a clean up. It's all intact and doesn't appear to be damaged in any way. Very basic design inside there. The glass has probably got residue of sand underneath it. That's probably giving it its gritty appearance, and that literally just falls out. So that makes our life a little bit easier. And now we're left with the actual chassis there. And as you can probably see, these are the posts here that I'm going to have to drill out and tap. Or what some people do, they drill them out and they just install a new rivet into them. So I may go down that road yet. So we're going to get some paint stripper now. Oh, we've got the little plastic base on there, as you can see there. Now that looks like it will probably have to be pushed out. I don't know whether I can push them out. There we go. There we go. Just remove that like that. That should be able to go back in. Right, so I've got my paint stripper. Right, I'm using the Power Strip paint stripper here, so I'm just going to put some in there first of all. Should be enough. Get our old cars in there. And literally paint this stuff on. and we'll leave that to do its work for a few minutes. Right, well, it's been about 10 to 15 minutes now, and as you can see, it's all loosened up nicely. So I'm just going to put this under the tap, wash it off with a stiff brush, and we'll see what it looks like afterwards. Okay then, so this is the result of my cleaning. It's done a pretty good job, the old paint remover, but there is the odd piece of small paint still in the lettering, for example, and this is where these little picks can possibly come in handy, and you really need some sort of magnifying glass to make a good job of these. Although the main body of the car will need some more stripping, as you can see, in places it didn't actually take off. Things like the seam lines there, as you can probably see, will need cleaning out, and all you do there is just push that through there, and that tends to clean them out. Things like the shut lines. There you go. Right, okay, so that's what we're going to be doing. So I'm just going to give it another bit of paint stripper. So we'll just apply a little more paint stripper just in the areas where it's needed there. Let it do its thing, and then we'll take it from there. Right, so here we go then. It's had a good scrape now. All the colour's been removed. All the fine detail is there, as you can probably see, and the lines are all looking good. The finish is a bit tarnished, to be honest with you, and if this was done in a what you call a Spectraflame see-through type lacquer, candy type paint, you'd rely on the silver underneath or the zinc coating on this one to be absolutely pristine, but this isn't, as you can see. Well, one of the things I'm going to have to do now is decide what to do with these little posts here. Now, as I say, I've got a small tap or the little rivet, so I'm not decided yet what I'm going to use. So I'm going to drill these out, and then I'll decide afterwards what I'm going to put in there. Right, well, in the case of these little rivets here, what I'm going to do is to use these little 2.5 rivets there, and they automatically come with a drill piece. So let's just open the packet up. They automatically come with these little rivets. So one thing I want to check out is how far down you can afford to go. Right, so I've got one of these small files here, and also there's the rivet with the little hole in the back there, as you can probably see. Can you see that? There's the rivet with a hole in the back, and all I'll do is put that in there like that, so it gives me some purchase, and then it's literally right. So there we go. Both rivets now fit in there, and I'm happy with it. Right, okay then, so I've just given this a wire brush down with a little wire brush on the end of my Dremel tool. I haven't sanded it. I don't think I need to sand it because the thing's going to be primed. If it was going to be a Spectra Flame type paint where it's see-through, where you need the actual zinc plating to be in perfect condition, obviously I'll treat that, but it's all okay. So I'm just going to give that a quick wipe down with some panel wipe or some wax and grease remover, just before I actually prime it. This is a fast drying stuff, so make sure you get every sort of nook and cranny. I'm going to hold it in these little grips here. There's many ways of doing this, I think, but this is just my chosen way of choice. There we go, so I don't get any fingerprints on it. Okay, I'm happy with that. So I've got this Tamiya Fine Surface Primer in white. They do grey and red, I think you'll find. It's for plastics and metal. It's what quite a few of the die-cast restoration people use. So if it works, why change the formula? Right, okay. So I'm just going to give this a few light coats, starting with the underneath to make sure I get the edges. Right, I'll leave that for a minute as one coat. And I'll just sit that there and come back and do a second coat in a second. Right, okay then, I've opted for the Tamiya range of paints. There are many different ones out there. These are solvent acrylics, and you buy them in these little pots here. I've got the Tamiya X8 yellow for the base, and I've got the X16 purple for the actual body of the car, and also the X20A acrylic paint Tamiya thinners as well, so I'll be using that there. The ratio I'm going to be mixing the paint up to is 2 parts paint to 1 part thinner. That should get me through my airbrush okay, I'm hoping. And I'm going to use these little pipettes here just to measure the paint out. So I'm going to get these little cups here, as you can see. And first of all, add my thinners first. Add the thinner and add the paint to the thinner. So I'm going to start off with, as I say, a 2 to 1 mix. So I'm going to do 10 drops of this and 20 drops of paint. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 20 of that. And I'm going to use 40 drops of paint. These tend to settle when they're new, so make sure you give them a good stir, because the solids tend to sink to the bottom and the binding agents tend to stay at the top, so give them a good stir. 2 to 1 mix apparently tends to do the job. I don't know yet, I'm a novice. So we just suck some of that up. And we want 40 of these. There we go. And let's just give this a little stir up. Right, okay, so that's our 20:1 mix. Still looks a little thick to me, but I'm going to go with it for the moment. Right, so I'm going to place this now in the airbrush. Before we go any further, I just want to... There we go, yeah, it's brown okay. Seems to be okay. Right, here we go. Right, here we go for a second coat. Right. Lovely. And let's see how we go with this. There we go. Right, okay, let's put it in the gun. Right, okay, so we've got some soapy water. We're going to throw the plastic bits in there and let's see what we can do with these. We'll put the wheels in there as well. Right, so I was able to straighten the little axles out, as you can probably see there. Looking a lot more straight than what they was. Windscreen's done, and that's done now, so I can put them to one side. Okay, so I've got this Mr. Colour GX clear lacquer, and I've also got this Mr. Colour levelling thinner, and I've looked online, it says mix it at 1:1 or 2:1, so I've gone for a 1:1 mix, and I've got it here. It still looks a little thick to me, but it's on a 1:1 mix, but I'm going to go with it. Now, I'm not too sure whether or not this is going to be able to mix with these paints here, so because it's a different brand, so I should have got the Tamiya stuff, but I obviously had this, so what I'm going to do is put it in the airbrush. And as you know, I've got this test panel over here, which I sprayed earlier on. I'm just going to put it on top of that where I've actually painted. and see if we get any sort of reaction. Always best to test this sort of stuff when you when you don't know what you're dealing with. Like me, I'm a total novice, as I said to you, but that doesn't tend to be bubbling up at all, so I'm going to anticipate that everything's going to be okay. Yep. So here goes. Right, so we're all painted up now, and it's not turned out too bad for my first attempt. There's a couple of little marks in it, but nothing I can really do about that. I've not actually polished this, I've not buffed it up, so I'm going to leave it as it is for now. The colour's obviously slightly different. What I have learned from this is to mix the colour paint before I actually strip the vehicle, so I've got as near representation as I can have to it. But I think you'll find that the paint's laid down nicely, the lacquer's gone on nicely, and all in all it's ready to go back together. Base is done in again, that bright yellow there. I've lacquered the base as well, as you can probably see there, just glistening in there. So what I'm going to do now is to just touch up these wheels a little bit. The centre silver hubs are looking a bit dark, so what I've actually got is this liquid chrome pen, and it's got a very fine tip on it. Now I've actually got one of those magnifying lenses, which I haven't got on at the moment, which is one of these things here, and I'm going to actually put it on because I am struggling a little bit, and it's very close detailed work, and I recommend that if you're going to do something like this, to get one of these. They're only cheap, and all I will say is that it makes a hell of a difference. I can see exactly what I'm doing now, and it's going on very easily. So I'm just going to go around and do all four wheels, and I'll catch you back in a minute when I've done them. Right, so I've got this little back plastic section now to put back in, and all I'm going to do here is just to lay it back in. That just pops in nicely actually, so I don't think I'm even going to need to glue that. They've gone back in a treat. So all that remains is for me to lay the glass in. As you can see, I actually clear coated the glass. Drop that in there like that. Get the interior. Again, sits in like that. I've plugged the wheels on the base so that can literally go back in like that. I want to just clip in on them posts. There's the front one, and there's the back one. And then I just want to make sure that I've got them holes lined up, which they are. And all I'm going to do is take a drop of this super glue here. But before I do that, I want to dry fit these posts and make sure that the rivets are okay. I'm sure you see they do. So that one I'm going to remove, and I'm just going to put a couple of drops into the post, and I've got to be pretty swift with this. In and push down and hold, and there you go. That's that in, and I think you'll find that that does look like a factory fitting. Drop of glue in there, bit of excess there, and there we go. Wipe away the excess glue, which I've done there. And I think you'll agree that those rivets tend to look a lot more standard than the screws that people often put in there, and I'm quite pleased with that. So there we go. Let's have a closer look at it. There we go. It's my first restoration on a little Matchbox car. It's one that I remember having when I was a child. This one was beyond play worn condition. A lot of people say you shouldn't repaint these, it devalues them, but the only ones I'll be repainting or restoring will be ones that are, as I say, over and above normal play wear. As you can see, I think it's come out well. I could have done a bit better. I have lacquered it. I didn't actually polish the car. There is a couple of blemishes in the paintwork, and getting used to painting things on a small scale like this is, again, an art form. I don't possess them skills at the moment, but I will get better. I should have colour matched it before I stripped the paint off. That's another lesson learnt. I think you'll find that the rivets work very well underneath, as you can see there, and it retains its original condition as far as looking untouched underneath. So I'm very pleased with it. Hope you've enjoyed this video. I have created a playlist now for these restorations, and do check out my other ones on my playlist when I start uploading them, obviously. And yeah, hope you've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed doing it. It's been a bit fiddly, and using things on a lot smaller scale is something I'm going to have to get used to. Anyway, thanks very much, and I'll see you in the next video, and until then, bye for now.